Hey guys, it's me Rebecca. So this will be the start of another weekly vlog, and I apologize for the lighting as it is currently about 4:30 in the afternoon, and it's also quite dreary. Like it just started to rain, and it started to get dark around 12 o'clock. So I apologize for that. But yeah, so far today I've just done some chores, had to run a couple errands and whatnot. And I did do some reading. If you saw my last vlog, you would have known I was reading The Cartographers by Pink Shepherd, and I actually did finish reading it today. And I just finished it, but I did enjoy it, and it was an interesting time, even if not everything was explained in the sense of how. I mean, I guess it makes sense on how the town exists as it. If it's on a map, then it exists, I guess, but still, but yeah. And I've decided to give it 4 stars. I just had a lot of fun with it, I guess, and it was just quite interesting, but yeah, and I'm not gonna give it more of a synopsis. But we see with Wally his obsession with Algely? Algely? I swear I'm butchering it that. Like, I'm thinking of the actual word. But. And it seems like he didn't want to tell the rest of the group about it. He just wanted to keep it a secret between him and Tam, who first discovered the town. He is extremely protective about it, as it is a discovery that would really help his career, but I think there is something more, and the obsession with him trying to find any map that had Algeria on it, and then both breaking into houses, businesses, museums, and whatnot, and it's going a bit far with it. And with this, we also see with, I guess, the backstory of what happened in 1990. We learned that others in the friend group betrayed one another, and those betrayals were revealed, and there were secrets being kept, and Wally felt like he just couldn't trust anyone, so he tried to destroy everything, destroy Audrey and whatnot, and that's where Nell's mother died in a fire trying to save Nell, and Nell is now forced, or she tries, she initially willingly goes back to Audrey just to see it and learn more of the place where her mother died and where things fell apart for everything and whatnot. And she's eventually forced to go into it, as Wally, holding Felix hostage, wants to put this map on a time because he wants, not time, but he wants to put it in the service that he has control over, because he wants complete control over the town. And there is a quote that no says, not says, but there's a quote in a book where it's like, maps were like supposed to be stories of a place told through someone's eyes. It's not something you can control. And I do like that, and the way now realized the only way to deal with Wally and his obsession was to move the town somewhere else that he wouldn't be able to know. So I did like that, but yeah, overall I enjoyed it and gave it 4 stars. And I think tomorrow I'll give the synopsis of the book I'm planning to read next. If you saw my video a few weeks ago where I ended up actually DNF in a book I was planning to read the next day, and I didn't mention the synopsis, well, I was glad for that then. And even for what I'm planning next is the second book in a duology, I'm not taking risks. But yeah, I'll see you. So it's the next day, and it's another dreary day, and yeah, so far today I've just done some work and whatnot, and I also did some reading. I started A Steeping of Blood by Hafso Bazo. I usually read the Dust Jacket Off. It's on because I wanted to film my thumbnail. But this is the sequel to A Tempest of Tea, and I'm just gonna read the synopsis to A Tempest of Tea, as this is, well, the sequel. And on Goodreads it says, A Tempest of Tea. On the streets of White Warren, Arthur Cashmere is a criminal mastermind and collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by dark, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when her establishment is threatened, Arthur is forced to strike an unlikely deal with an alluring advisory to save it. And she can do the job alone, calling on some of the city's most skilled outcasts. Arthur hatches a plan to infiltrate the sinister, glittering vampire society known as the Aetherum. But not everyone in her ragtag crew is on her side, and as the truth behind the heist unfolds, Arthur finds herself in the midst of a conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. And yeah, I read the first book back in June of 2024, so about a year and a half ago roughly. I don't exactly remember it. So far I'm not confused. I mean, I'm only on page 92, but I don't think I'm confused yet. I understand what's happening, and I'm kind of recalling things that happened in A Tempest of Tea. But it seems like this is immediately after everything went wrong for Arthur and her crew. And Arthur, who, at the end of the first book, it is revealed she is half vampire. And to save her life, Machio, who is a full vampire, transforms her, so she's also a full vampire. And she also transformed her friend, her brother Jin. And he is upset about this because she didn't tell him she was half a vampire, and they've been working together for 10 years, and they do see each other as brother and sister, and you can see how upset he is and how angry he is with her, and that he feels like he can no longer trust her. Like, she held this big secret from him, and I think he has every right to be upset because, I mean, he does see her as her sister, as his sister. But with Jin, he is still on the lookout for his parents after he was told by another character in the previous book that they are alive, and it seems like the Ram, who is the monarchy of this nation, who has been colonizing other countries and also been kidnapping vampires to serve her a purpose for herself. But now it seems like she's also kidnapping humans and having the vampires blamed for it to make things worse for the vampires. Propaganda, is riling up the people in the country. As we see protests and riots, and well, not riots, but we see people waving stakes around. Yeah, and we also see how the one's own daughter has turned on her after realizing how bad of a person her mother is. But there's also that part of Flick who still, I guess, because she has spent her entire life in trying to win her mother's attention, she can't turn off that part of herself that does care about her mother. It seems like, and I'm curious to see if that will play a role. And apparently it seems like information that Fick's gone through the ledger that was stolen in the previous novel. It seems like Jin's parents are in a country called Sivina. I don't think that's how you pronounce it properly, but which is where Arthur initially is from. And I am curious, because Arthur's never been back. She's not even left them White Warring since she came to this country, so I am curious and seeing if and how this will affect her. And yeah, so far I am intrigued. I like seeing the, I guess, determination in Jin, and as well the tension between him and Arthur because of the fact she didn't trust him enough. She thought by not telling him she was protecting him. But I also do like the tension between Arthur and Matteo, how there is something there brewing, it seems like, and I'm curious on what will be the outcome. So yeah, right now, a lot of questions and a lot of intrigue in seeing how the story will unravel. So yeah, I think that's all for now. I have some more work I need to do, and I might have to go outside to do more leaves, but we will see because they do promise rain until this evening, so I will see. But yeah, I think that's all for now. So it's the next day, and so far I've done some work and whatnot, and I still have some more work I want to do today, but I also want to lie down a bit and I decided to film this update first and then lie down this. I don't know, I just have a bit of a headache. Or I don't think it's a headache, but unless I'm tired, I guess I don't really know what's going on with me. But I did do some reading, and I'm on page 146 of A Steeping of Blood, and I do have to say I'm quite liking it a lot. We see the characters, they're almost with conflict with themselves and also with what is happening. They also have to face the what if in some cases, but also the fact that they didn't think they would be in this position. We see how Jin, Arcee, and Matteo, they get on the boat to... Is it Wittenser? Because I feel like I mispronounced it horribly yesterday, but Kalen, I believe the country is wrong, to find Jin's parents, who, after thinking they've been dead for a decade, he finally has some hope. And with him, he will also have to think of the possibility that it's been 10 years and things have changed, and maybe their loyalties have changed, that they're now working to harm these vampires and that they're no longer on the good side, and that's a possibility he'll have to take in. And he finally understands why Arthur, she never said anything to him about being a vampire, and you see, even though he was upset with her, he still was quite protective of her in a big brother sort of sense, and we understands that because of Arcee's past and what happened on the journey from Kalen to their country of Itina. I feel like I'm mispronouncing it, but I'm reading it physically, so that she didn't want to tell him or really talk about it. She wanted him to know the full truth and see that. But also with characters that conflict with one another, this flick. I mean, she was still starting to really go against her mother, and then she was forced to go fully against her mother when it was revealed who her mother is, and now she's working against her. I mean, she is still her mother, and part of like, well, it seems like we'll care about her, and I'm curious if that will play a role in the plot of the novel. And finally, with Arthur, she is also conflicted with herself because she has spent a decade being like an outsider, an Intina by people who live there, feeling like she doesn't belong, and now she's returning to Kea, and somewhere that she probably also feels like she doesn't belong to anymore, because A, it's been 10 years she's up, but also B, when she was leaving was this when the colonization of the country had begun, so what changes will be there? Will she recognize them? I don't think so. I think it'll be just with what she described with like, or said really with trees being cut down and things changing. It seems like it will become a place she no longer recognizes, and I'm curious on how that will affect her. But also with the fact they have to do this journey by boat, it also is affecting her because she cannot help thinking of what happened when she came from Kalen to Etna when she was a young girl, and how she slaughtered everyone on the boat because she was hungry and she doesn't think she's good. And that's something she and Matthew both can kind of relate to because of their past actions has hurt a lot of people, and they're trying to turn their lives around in a way and be better than who they were once, I guess. And I don't know, I am making that in. But it seems like that her fears of being on a boat, or not fears or worries, but those thoughts have ended because it seems like they have this landed in Canada, so I am curious on what's happening next. But yeah, unless like I'm like all of the worries that the characters have and conflicts they're at, and also the changing of their relationships because something in Matteo is changing something in RC too. Someone she doesn't really recognize, something is affecting her actions, and I don't know how to describe it because it's not like she's a damsel in distress, because she's not that, but I think with him, she's allowing herself to be a bit more vulnerable, I want to say. Because she's had to, act like she's tough and that nothing hits her. Because she cannot show weakness in my warning because of who she is and what her gang was doing. So I'm curious if that's what, but I do like the relationship between her and Matteo. I'm also liking the relationship with Jin and Flick because with Flick, she's I feel like she's not like other girls. Okay, I'm seriously, with Jin, he's unsure why she's different to him, because why she's different to other girls he's kissed and gone away with. Could it be because she's also really resilient and that she wants to get away, take down her mother and help him, or is there something that she also cares a lot about him? As she did stop playing with her lighter when he was around because she learned how it affects him, as it brings up past traumas to him. So yeah, I'm just really enjoying the dynamic between all of the characters, and yeah, I think that's all for now. So it's the next day, and so far I've done some chores. I've had to rake more leaves. I swear I think I've mentioned this previously. I don't know in this vlog or my last one. I just live in a place where we have a lot of trees, so yeah. And I also did some work on my laptop, and I still have some more work I want to do today, but I had to go out and run an errand as one of my parents accidentally left their keys in the car and locked the car, and I have a spare, so I had to do that, and I've also done some reading of this Tipping of Blood premium page 242, and I am definitely liking it. We see like she is apprehended by guardsmen who work for her mother and taken to her. Her mother is still looking for her ledger, and it seems like she has no affection or no emotion towards Flick, as she's allowing her, when she's viewed as her daughter, to be tortured, and not in the sense of like actual torture, but just to be chained and whatnot, and forcing her to just trying to tell her secrets. And it seems like it's finally coming to the realization that her mother is, well, not a good person, and it seems like she's accepting that. And with the others, they arrive on the island, and definitely Arthur, she no longer recognizes the Cian as the colonizers, those from Intina, have completely changed it and kind of made the port of it, I guess, because that's all we've really seen. Like they've copied what White Warring look like and just put it there as like they belong there, and that, oh, this is our home, we're gonna change it the way we seem fit. I mean, if we were invading someone else's home. And a lot of trees have been cut down and whatnot, and yeah, they tried to get into the fort that Flick found, and they are apprehended when Jin happens to take out the Wong cart, and they see his fangs, and the guards there, they don't see vampires as human, they refer to him as it. Like, Jin has seen vampires and humans, like, it's kind of the same, but different. I mean, they're people, but and vampires are human beings who might be different. They're not this separate entity. It's completely separate from humans and ideas like that. And they take him to his parents, who he found, I guess, information that they were working for the woman, it seems like, willingly, and that's hurt him. Who it seems like they were only looking like they were working with the to protect the vampires and to protect Jin, as it seems like they've been keeping the vampires asleep to kind of not sustain, but to for them to kind of rest and keep their energy, keep the food that they already have, it seems like. And that they were actually planning to double cross the Ram. And with Jin, Arthur, and Mateo there, they are able to, with the knowledge that Jin's parents have, and we see with Jin, he kind of has a bit of conflict within himself, because he's not sure if he can trust his parents, because it has been 10 years, so he's changed, and so have they, and he no longer recognizes them, and that is something I'm liking, the fact, like, he's not completely sure if he can trust these people, because what they're saying could be quite different to their actions, and they do acknowledge that they have had to do some stuff in order to protect these vampires, some stuff that's morally not okay, but it was either that or have to take their notes and give it to scientists who would actually hurt them. So yeah, it's a bit of like a gray area, I would say, but yeah, and we see Arcee, she comes up with this plan just to take down the fort and try and take the country. I am back from the colonizers and have them feel what it feels like for their home to be destroyed. I think about turning by destroying the fort and destroying the port city and ensuring that really just destroying the fort and ensuring that businesses that belong to the Cayenne people are safe, and ensuring on how that goes. And it seems like there was a secret room in a fort, in a sanatorium where Jin's parents live, where they are conducting their research, and they didn't really talk about it, and it seems like we'll begin some explanation on that, and I'm curious about that. I'm curious about what's gonna happen with Flick, and I don't really think her mother's gonna get the information she wants out of her, but who knows. But Flick is definitely stronger than she seems, so yeah.
and I really like the fact like she was hearing Jin and Arthur's voices in her head, and she thought she needed them when really they're just representing her thoughts, like they're what they're saying in her head, they're her own thoughts, and that's like something I do like because she's not having to rely on people, she's her own person and just growing more confident and sure of herself, and I do like that. And I think her realize this how not good her mother was to her and how neglectful her mother was with having her locked in a castle essentially and probably having adopting her for her own purposes, for some purpose really just to have a hair, it seems like maybe, but I don't know, I could be wrong because if you know more about how the political system could be, I'm not sure if it was explained in some specific detail. Again, I read it a year ago. I have a horrible memory, so yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling and go back to my work. So it's the next day, and I just got inside from doing some more yard work this evening. And before that, I had to take my car to the mechanic again. Yeah, one of my family's cars is 20 years old, and it's just been causing problems for us. And there's an issue, it seems like, with the engine. I don't know, I had to go with my mom to the mechanic, so yeah. And I also did some work on my laptop and whatnot, and I have done quite a bit of reading of A Steeping of Blood, premium page 340, and so far I'm definitely enjoying this. We are learning more of the experiments that Jin's parents were conducting and how they want to do good, but they were also put in a place where if they don't do bad things to vampires, someone else will come along or Ram will dispose of them, give their research to someone who will do more harm to these vampires, and they, to try and get the key from the head of the guards, they take Jin, Arthur, and Matteo to this chamber where 7 vampires are in containers in some liquid form, and they're called Whipper vampires. Vampires who have this, not malfunction, but mutation, I guess, that causes them to essentially not really be human at all. They're not even human, they're pure animal instinct. And by keeping these vampires in these cages, in these like containers, Jin's parents thought they were reversing that mutation, while the head of the guard thought actually they're making them. So yeah, and we see how they are able to escape, and they were able to torch the entire place down. And Arthi, she was not unconscious during this, so she's a bit sad. She missed the burning of the colonizers' like property, and that she won't be able to see her people or the Kalani people reclaim their homeland. And that's the one thing I'm liking about this, is that Arthi, who has lived in Intina for a decade, because of the way she looks, people don't think she belongs there, but she's been away from Cayenne for a decade, and a lot of change has happened, and she no longer recognizes the place, and she no longer feels like she belongs there. So where does she belong? As someone who's essentially a refuge and an immigrant. So that is something I do like. And while that's happening, you see Flick trying to escape her mother's captivity and being successful. However, she was unable to do what she was tasked to do, and when Jin and Arthur and others dock, they are ambushed by her mother, and she was there to warn them. Yeah, and things got insane. There was a death okay, there was a death of a character, a minor character who we just met, and that moment should be sad as it was a character who was reunited. Why the hell am I trying to be vague? Spoiler alert, skip the next 20 seconds. Jin's parents are killed by the Ram in cold-blooded murder. Like, she disregards them completely. It's like, they're replaceable. I can find someone else to do their job. And this hurts Jin because he's been looking for a decade for his parents, thinking they're dead, and he had finally gotten confirmation they're alive only for them to die. I don't know, it should be sad. I think it's just because we were just introduced to them, like, or we gotten to know them for like 20-30 pages, and I just didn't really feel anything. Like, yes, they would have given Arthur a proper family, as Shin and Jin do consider each other brother and sister, but I don't know, I just didn't really feel anything for that. Like, it was sad, but and we see Arthur surrender herself to the Ram in the hopes of trying to give the others time to come up with a plan to take down this like celebration that Ram is planning. And we see that Ram and Arthur talk, and how Arthur strikes the nerve, and yeah, she is chained, and her gun, caliber I believe it was called, is taken away because it apparently has a magic that kills vampires, and one wants to experiment. I don't know what the Ram's ulterior motives are, and I'm very much curious if using caliber is part of her plan, and if this whole celebration is really part of her plan as well to even have more powerful if that's possible. But yeah, so far I'm tuned in, seeing how the relationships go and how people feel about what happened. And I do have to say one last thing is I do like Matteo and Arthur, and I just remember this that Matteo doesn't want Arthur to change. Like, he's not expecting her to be someone she is not, and he's made it clear he accepts her for who she is. He wants her for who she is. He's made it loud and clear, and I like that because Arthur has always been someone who it seems like has had to be someone for someone else, or to, I guess, not pretend to be someone she's not, but not really be wholly open of who she is, and now she is someone who will wholly accept her. So yeah, I do like that, and I don't know how dark it is for you, but it is getting dark for me, so I'm just gonna let you go and turn on a light. And so it's the next day, and I've just been out running some errands. I did my grocery shopping and whatnot, and it is definitely feeling like winter out there, or like the beginning of winter. As it was just chilly today, and sometimes there will be a breeze which made it colder, so that was fun. But I also did some reading, and I did finish A Steeping of Blood, and I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I don't really know if I can say I enjoyed it, just because with this kind of novel it just feels wrong to say, but yeah, I guess I enjoyed it. But we don't know what the Ram wanted to use Arthur for in her plan. The Ram had been kidnapping humans off the streets and blaming the vampires to spread more fear in them. And with the kidnapped people she's been holding hostage, she wants Arthur to turn them into vampires, in hoping that they'll become like whipper vampires, go wild, and just destroy everything. And Arthur and others, they've not underestimated, but they were wrong in what the Worm was planning to do. They thought she was just gonna release all of these rabid vampires onto the streets of the city while those in high society are safely behind closed doors, but it seems like she wanted to eliminate everyone who is of high society and the council in order to gain full powerful regime over the entire country. Even like really going to the point of being a dictator. And Arthi realizes something about the Raman, how she is what she has people fear and hate, and Arthur uses that against her, and the Ram thinks she's being smart and kind of, or was a part of her plan the entire time was to expose herself as Lady Lindholm, as who her true identity, and you see how Arthur and the others they try to stop her, and she does release the Whimper vampires on the high society. And someone in a group uses themselves as bait to allow Arthur time to ignite dynamite just to close the tunnel where the vampires will be coming through, and they die. And yeah, we just see kind of not a new start, but I guess a new start in a sense, like the Ram's reign is over and artifacts are going back to their home, because thing is with Arthur's gun caliber, it was from another country, and Ram initially was gonna use it as kind of like a bidding thing, or a bribe I would say, to get this country to do her bidding and to control this country. But Arthur's like, no, I'm not going to return it. It doesn't belong to me, it belongs to them. And we see how vampires and humans, they, instead of humans really fearing them and vampires having to do things underground, they're almost living side by side, because the tea room Arthur had, it was a tea room by day and a blood room, I guess, by night, and that blood room was in open secret, and now tea and blood are served at the same time, same thing, and humans and vampires are able to intermingle and go, and that is something I do like, and it's, I guess, seeing this new piece, I guess, Arthur has, well, and I feel like I don't think she and her crew are ever gonna stop being criminals, but doing small crimes, but who knows. But yeah, overall, I liked it a lot, and yeah. And I'm debating if I want to end this vlogs tomorrow on Saturday, or if I want to send it now, just because tomorrow I don't really have plans, but I'm not in the mood to edit a longer vlog next time, so I'm just gonna be kind to myself and continue this vlog into tomorrow. And the book I'm gonna start next, I really hope it is That Last Word by Taylor Adams. If I didn't have that one, I didn't have that one, but I believe with The Last Word, it is about this girl who is, she's house sitting, I want to say, and she's isolated from people, and she only has her dog, and I think there is a neighbor she is friendly with, who she plays crossword with online or something like that, and or they talk about books, and he gives her a book. She hates it, leaves a 1-star review, and the author is like, take down this review. She says no, and it seems like he goes after her, so yeah, I think every reviewer's worst nightmare. But I don't know, I'm intrigued by that one, so yeah, I think that's all for now. I'll see you when I see you. And it's the next day, and so far I've just done some cleaning and organizing. I had to clean up my bookshelves because they were just a right mess, so yeah. And I have done some reading of The Last Word, and I think my description I gave yesterday is quite accurate. We start
with a girl named Emma. She's finishing a book, and it's like the worst thing she's ever read. It's like a 1-star review, and she leaves a 1-star review. That's quite to go. And author does respond. They have a bit of back and forth. He so far it seems like he is someone who thinks very highly of himself. He's very almost poetic, or like he writes good books. And he wants her to delete her review. She doesn't want to because it's for other readers. It's not for the author. But the author's like, you're gonna ruin my chances of being successful. Other reviewers, other readers will look at your review and not want to read it. You'll ruin my career. Please, it's my dream to be an author. Like, it's that sort of a bullshit. Someone who thinks so highly of themselves, and then later he's like, he writes horror novels, and he's like, he basically says, this book's not for you. You're female. Females don't read horror or action. They don't like them. It's biology. Like, that's a literal quote. And I'm like, oh my god, this guy just thinks so highly of himself, thinking he has chances of getting an editor or an agent when his books, from the way Emma describes them, are very repetitive. Like, it's like murder mountain, murder road, I guess. I don't think there's another word, but basically, he takes a location, murder, and it's always from the killer's POV, so yeah. And Emma, she is house sitting for this woman named Jules on this island during the winter season, and it seems Emma's done this intentionally, like has run away from her life in Utah, has to isolate herself from everyone and everything. It seems like she's not happy with the way her life's gone in the sense of her career. She was someone who wanted to be kind of work with the stars in astrology, but ended up being a junior high teacher. And it seems she had recently lost her husband and is reflecting on it. And how many what ifs if things hadn't happened? Like, what if her husband hadn't gotten injured the way he did to him? She wouldn't have gotten his last name or phone number or anything. So, and she is someone who she claims she's simply an introvert. She doesn't want to be around people, but it seems like she just has antisocial behaviors that she doesn't think she can stand the idea of being around people, and desires to be alone with her dog and her. And this place is ideal for her as there's no neighbors right next to her. Like, her closest neighbor is someone she has to see through a telescope, and they play games of hangman on my board, and it's just funny, and she's trying to figure him out. So that part I do like, but things get quite dark when Emma sees this apparition in her bedroom, and at first she's hoping that this is simply her eyes playing tricks on her and it's like a coat whack or something, but no. And Jules has this motion sensor thing outside her house, because previously people have gone on a house, as many houses in this area are empty during the winter season, and have tried to rob them. And it seems like this has happened previously with other house sitters noticing strange things and hearing stuff, and she only set things up when her son noticed someone outside and how the loneliness got to him. And this apparition, this author, who his name is like H.G. Kane, no? Like, he so wants to be like the next Stephen King, or the next H.G. Wells. Like, it's that desperation. But it seems like he is stalking Emma and is able to find her, because he does show up to the house and wants her to say her review to him out loud. And she calls him, like,
pathetic, I want to say, or something insulting to him. And he's like, actually, Emma, you're a new character. You're gonna be the final girl in my next book. And I'm calling it Murder Beach. So, yeah, this is just someone who thinks so highly of himself, thinks he's the best writer ever. And he gets upset that someone leaves a 1-star review. Like, sir, book reviews. Your book reviews, it seems like they don't have that good average rating, like 1-2 stars, and I mean the reviews written, I mean they might be 5 stars, like you have a number of them, and even if they might be from accounts that you graded, it's ridiculous how much on his high horse this guy is. And we do get a draft of Murder Beach, and oh my word, it's not really good writing in my opinion. This is someone who does enjoy the craft of writing and has tried to write in the past. And where's my journal? Yeah, and he's like, actually, I wrote a book when I was like in 4th grade, and it was extremely good and very intelligent, and it's like, what the fuck is this trash that a 4th grader came up with? Like, I don't know, it seems like he's always been given praise, and he's just not someone who can handle criticism, and I'm afraid for Emma in the sense of the fact she is alone, and this is someone who is egotistical and will want to just prove that his horror is based on life. Like, people are then extremely smart when it comes to real life events. So in the book, there's something that's like, I think, an action that the character could have taken that people in real life would probably have noticed, so, or would have done. So yeah, I'm afraid for Emma, and yeah. And I think that's all of my thoughts for now. The rest of my thoughts will probably be in my next vlog, as this is the end of this video. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment below telling me what you've been up to recently. If you want to, please subscribe to this channel, and if you want to follow me on any social media, then all those links are in the down bar below. I'll see you guys next time.